Hi, everyone. My name is David McLeod. This is Soul Empowerment, and today we're on episode number 14, I believe it is, the myth of the magic bullet, we're calling it. I don't know if you can see, but over here on my left, I've been involved in the Wellness Universe complete guide to personal self-care, and I've been involved in the first two volumes, and I just got my second volume there. So the first one was already a bestseller. We're going to try and make the second one a bestseller. Hope for the best. Our official launch day is 2 days from now. That's Thursday. So wow. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Anyway, my library of books that I've contributed to or written is starting to grow, and I really like that. That's so exciting. Hi, Nancy. I see you're in Sedona right now. Why don't you say hello? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
Well, hello, everyone. Yes. My husband and I have purchased a second home in Sedona. We love the just the natural environment in this area, not to mention the spirituality. And we are going to enjoy spending part of our time here in Sedona. And then the other part, we are just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And I am already feeling the positive, loving vibrations of the Red Rocks. So come join us. There's lots of room for you in Sedona and beyond.
Right. Well, I've been to Sedona twice, and I have to say I agree with you. It's really a very, very special place. It's really quite beautiful, and so I'm kind of envious that you have this beautiful place down there in Arizona, and I'm up here in Idaho. Well, Idaho's a nice place too, but it's really nice. So congratulations.
And in fact, we had, for our viewers who are listening now or later, our very first soul treat was in Sedona, and our second one, and our third soul treat is going to take place across the United States this year in the Art of Living retreat in Boone, North Carolina. So mark your calendars. This is going to be an epically incredible retreat. It is the third weekend in October, I think, like the 21st through the.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yep.
Like that.
Sure. I think it starts on the Friday and it runs through until the Monday, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now. Yeah, so you don't want to. So it starts, I believe, Thursday, October 22nd, and wraps up on Sunday, October 24th. I think people will fly in, and we have the events. You don't want to miss it. That's how David and I actually met. Was at the first soul treat, and we've formed an incredible, fun, enlightening partnership. So if you're on the fence about wondering what to do to take your well-being to the next level, do it. The retreat is absolutely incredible. David is going to be one of the featured presenters, and he is amazing. I am going to be an experience provider. We have a fair, an experience fair taking place after all the presenters, and I have the honor of doing that, and I get to attend. So do it. You'll learn a lot. You'll make a lot of friends. You will connect. You'll grow your business. You'll grow spiritually, personally, and just on so many levels.
Right.
Treat is
and so I just wanted to make a small adjustment to your timing. You're right that the retreat goes from Friday to Sunday just for attendees. But for anybody who is a premium or premium plus member of Wellness Universe, there's an extra day added on. So there's going to be a complete day focused on building your business and that sort of thing. And Anna Pereira is amazing. She's the founder of the Wellness Universe, and Nancy and I both love the organization. So anyway, come along and join us. Boone, North Carolina, October 22nd. So let's hope that all of the pandemic crap is gone and we don't have to deal with that anymore, and that you'll just be able to travel freely like before. That's what I'm praying for. I'm just going to manifest it and make it happen.
Exactly. And I know that all of us, even if we're still handling some of it, we are very responsible and intentional in caring for everybody. So if we're not going to throw caution to the wind. We are going to adhere to whatever protocols they are, while making this inclusive, fun, and enlightening. So just know that your best care is our best desire for you as well.
Yeah. Nicely spoken. I like that, Nancy. That was well said.
Mhm.
All right. So today, here we are talking about this concept of the magic bullet. And I remember when we were having our conversation, trying to come up with a topic. It was pretty interesting how this came up. So I remember that you had something that you were talking about with your yoga class or something. And let's start there. Let's bring this in and have our conversation.
I know. I was thinking about this morning. We were talking about, you know, I wish I could remember the details. Like looking outside for a quick fix.
Yeah, and I think that the main notion here is that sometimes, I mean, we live in a society where it's instant this and no time that and I mean I even it's gotten into the spiritual realm. It's gotten into the help, the personal help thing, and even all the teachers who talk about how to build your business. Of course, the secret to getting people to to purchase your products is to be able to solve a problem for them. Mm-hmm. And of course, then what happens is you have Joe solving a particular problem, and then you have Joanne solving the same problem, and the competition comes into how fast can they solve the problem. Yeah. And so you get to this point where Joe says, "Hey, come do my thing, and you'll have life mastery or whatever in a month." And Joanne says, "I can do better than that. I can transform you in a day." And this goes on and on.
Going to release all of these wounds and things. This session with me is so powerful. You're going to leave feeling completely ready to go. And they're like, okay, great. That means I don't have to do as much work, and all of my heartache or struggle or obstacles or blocks, man, somebody's going to do it for me, and I'm going to just reap the benefits.
Right. Yeah. And that's part of the problem, I think. I mean, clearly nobody can solve your life's problems in a day or maybe even in a month, So what is it about us that wants to buy into that belief system, to have this idea that if someone else just waves a magic wand or fires off this magic bullet, as we call it, that all of a sudden everything is going to be better? What is it that leads us into that kind of belief system in the first place?
That's a deep question. I think it's part of our inherent makeup that we've been told to look into and lean on, rely on our higher power, that there's this super energy out there that if we just tap into it, it knows what we need and we'll be led to it. That this learned master, David, life mastery coach, they've done all the work. They're gurus, and they're going to immediately know by looking at us or talking to us, or they've done all this work, that they're going to just get right in there and do what we just can't do. They're going to give us what we can't find. We've kind of been taught that in a way. Like, it kind of reaches into religion, politics, personal development. We're always being told or shown or led that someone way more learned than us, or a guru or a solution has what we need, and we just need to follow them or tap into it or buy that product, buy that service. It's kind of been, I was raised a little bit with that. Well, like, listen to your authority, study hard, or gather that. And you're like, wow, okay, I guess I really don't know. I need this, or
right.
They more than me. So it, like we talked about, it comes about giving your personal power, giving it to someone else.
Right. As you were talking there, I had this image of, a little kid running around and stubs his toe or bangs his head on a door or something like that, starts bleeding, and then is just crying and going all crazy like kids do. And old mommy comes along and says, "Oh, no problem, honey. Let me kiss it and make it better. Let me kiss it and make it better." As if the kiss is actually going to make it better. Mm-hmm. I think we're uncomfortable with the screaming of our kid who's in pain, And so what happens is the kid learns, oh yeah, mommy's kiss does make it feel, I do feel better when mommy holds me, when mommy kisses me, when mommy rubs my back, or whatever. Yeah, I do feel better. The pain doesn't really go away, but I'm not thinking about it as much. That's what's really going on, So what we end up believing is, yep, there's a way that a magic kiss or a magic touch or these super special needles with electrodes on them or something else is going to eliminate your problem. And we just buy into that starting from a very young age.
Yeah, it's part of it is learned, it's a learned behavior that somebody else is going to come alongside us, walk with us, or take it away, or we just basically are giving, like you said, kind of giving that up, oh, I don't know what to do. I really screwed up. Oh, well, I'll go tap into so-and-so, such and such,
Right.
Yeah, I can say, I'm trying to remember. I mean, probably too many examples where I was, looking into, rather than pausing and gathering the intuition within me, I was like, oh, I'm gonna hire somebody to do that for me. Like, for instance, for me, an area is technology, right? Instead of saying, okay, gee, I don't know how to do this, I'm just gonna hire an IT person to help me, or somebody else knows it. When truth be told, I have the knowledge within me. Now, it may take me a longer amount of time. I may be frustrated, but I do have the ability to learn that. And so I know that for me, with my relationship with technology, as you know, I'm all too willing to raise my hands up in defeat and walk away, like looking for that magic bullet. Somebody's just, oh my gosh, they've got the magic touch.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes, well, I'm glad you brought that up because, I mean, let's face it, I don't like cleaning my house. I mean, I like having a clean house, but I don't like doing that particular work. So I hire somebody. I know I can do it myself, and that's perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with, offloading some of your work to somebody else to do. And that includes technology. If you want to learn it, that's great. You can go ahead and learn it. But is it really the best use of your time right now? I think what we're talking about, although, we want to encourage people to take advantage of those people out there who have those skills that you maybe don't have right now and aren't inclined to learn. Go ahead and take advantage of those people, trade money for time or whatever. So that way you get to use your time in some other way. That's perfectly acceptable. But I think what we're talking about here is more about solving my own internal problems, trying to eliminate anger or depression or any of those things. Now, to be honest, sometimes a professional outside of ourselves can be very helpful. Absolutely. Yes. And I'm not going to ever suggest that you don't use that support when you need it. But what I am saying is, ultimately, even though those people are out there to help you, the real work has to be done in here. And that cannot be done by anybody else. There's no magic potion. There's no magic spell. There is no magic bullet. Nobody can wave a magic wand and have that problem be solved, except maybe God. And I believe that God allows you to have that struggle so that you can learn for yourself to heal that kind of pain and therefore become a stronger and a more empowered individual.
Yeah. I definitely agree. There's different, it's not just black and white. Obviously, it's what I shared and what you shared. There's definitely a time to reach out and connect to the guidance and support and help of others, especially if it's a more serious matter, mental well-being or rehab is working with rehab. But I think what we are working on is So we have a scope of work before us, or we're constantly taking 2 steps ahead and then going back because we are wanting to buy that next best product or service that's going to solve our problem when we, are not looking in the mirror to do the work. That's why the industry, I think that's why the personal development industry, the weight loss industry is making lots of money because people are buying the next best eating plan, diet, pill, exercise program, meditation program. They're buying all these programs, which I've been guilty of, that's gonna do all the work for me. Wow, I'll have it together. This program is it. And then you buy the program or the service, you feel really good, and then it goes away. And there you are, back where you started.
You hit another point that I have to agree with. Well, I don't have to, but I happen to agree with it, is this idea of, the I guess it's called the shiny object syndrome or something like that, where, I've bought many, many programs, many thousands of dollars worth of different programs. Some of them were very good, and they did excellent work to help me to get to know myself more and to empower myself. But some of them were a total waste of money. Some of them were absolutely useless. They were grossly overpriced. And this is part of the problem that we have to deal with. Some people are out there really offering you a genuine good value for your dollar and really, truly trying to help you. There are people like that, and probably a larger percentage than you think. But there are also a lot of unscrupulous people out there who know that you have a need for something, and they are going to figure out what that need is, and they're going to sell you something to fulfill that need that may or may not be of any use to you, because they don't really care whether you get better or not. They care about getting your money. And I have, unfortunately, I've run into people like that. We've all been scammed somewhere along the way. Many of us don't like to admit it, because when you get scammed, it means you have this belief that it means that you're stupid, or you're not very discerning about people's qualities or anything like that. But the truth of the matter is, even the smartest people in the world are just as gullible as anybody else. And so don't beat yourself up if you happen to fall into the pattern of maybe buying something that didn't really work for you, and then you realize later what a scam it was. Yes, learn your lesson and try not to do it again. God knows I could benefit from that very advice, because there have been times when I have bought again from a different unscrupulous source. And this is the problem. I'm a very trusting person,
Yeah.
Sometimes I believe what people tell me, and I shouldn't.
That's part of being the work that we do, is being in trust with others. So we extend that same trust from out to others and bring it in as well. And I think what you've just touched on is, integrity of those who are of integrity, and what is our intention? What are we really looking for? I think that's a great one. Like I took a virtual event, and it was incredible. I paid a small fee. I've got a lot of value, and it was perfect. Well, that virtual event, they were wanting to sell their high ticket items. So they gave us lots of value, and we enjoyed that. And then they were doing a hard sell to get select few to pay a lot more money for their premium. Right. And I could feel myself being caught up in the moment of that energy and starting to disconnect from the voice of reason and logic. I was like, and then I bet because I knew that about myself, I thought, nope, I'm going to pause. I'm going to see how I feel when I wake up the next day or the following. So I recognize that sensation of wanting to give my power, like getting caught up in like, wow, they are totally going to they're going to solve this for me. I'm going to get light years ahead. And really, when I woke up, I was like, nope, that's not true. What is the truer truth of that? I was like, oh, I really desire to help and to guide a lot more, a different audience. But the essence of that is that work, whatever that is, lies within me, not in that program, in my case. And it doesn't have to be, we're talking about programs, but it doesn't have to be that. It can be, for instance, you have a issue, like I'm just giving this as an example. I'm going to get acupuncture. That's going to solve my back pain or whatever. And I'm sure it's going to do a lot of good. But if you're relying completely on the acupuncture and not doing the other work, well, again, you're giving all of your hope and dreams to maybe one specific thing, which certainly, as it connects to others, is excellent. But if that is the only thing, and you're not looking within about what other things are needing to be worked on or revised or brought in, then, so this clearly ties into many different things.
No, you've covered a lot of really good points there. First of all, I think when you were talking about, attending an inexpensive or even a free event that provides some value, and then you know before you even get there, unless you've never had this happen before, before you get there that the big portion of that event is going to be about selling you the big product that they're really wanting you to get into. And I mean, we're talking, sometimes, thousands of dollars, possibly tens of thousands of dollars, depending on what you're looking at. And they always use the same technique for doing this. They say, well, this is normally valued at, this amount of money, but for you today only, I'm going to give it to you for this amount of money, but only if you buy before the end of the day.
Yeah.
So they put all these little things. So they're using the scarcity tool. They're talking about how can you afford not to buy this because it's so much better value today than it would be if you bought it all bit by bit. And it's almost laughable that actually works.
Well, they play on your
I've gotten caught up in that. You just told me you got caught up in it. It's so easy to get drawn. I find myself saying, geez, I can't afford not to buy this.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to miss out. Wow.
That's right.
This. Wow. You just get, so it's interesting. Like, what is that when we're giving our best power or intentions to the next best diet and meal plan, the next best self-help program. Think about some of the big gurus out there. One that comes to mind right off the hand, and he is excellent, is Tony Robbins. He's very, very good. But he does the same thing. Gets everybody at these major events. They get pumped up, feeling amazing and incredible. And it's true. They get a lot.
Correct. And it's while you're in that altered state, that's when they go for the jugular and demand your money.
And our coaches are standing by. If you've got a lot of value here, great. Well, we've got a special today that you can get into, one-on-one coaching or personal help or growth. Like, oh my gosh, I got so much value out of this live event. Of course, I'm going to purchase the one-off.
Right.
And you forget that, oh, well, what did I learn from here that I can apply going forward? Where am I right now? I'm not saying it's right or wrong to act on that. I think you have to do a little bit of internal work once the excitement or the energy is worn off for a moment, just to discern, do I really need this right now in this moment? Am I ready for this? Am I ready to take action and use my own power to move into this? Or am I wanting to ride the energy of this and, act as if I'm waiting for somebody to press those buttons in me?
And you mentioned something else too earlier on about how you took a pause.
I did.
And you decided to sleep on it. Now, I found this interesting because I've tried that myself. They say in the room when you're going through the process, they say, well, if you don't buy it, by before the end of this session, the thing's gone. And yet, if you sleep on it, come back the next day, it's still there. So they're actually lying to you in order to sell you this thing that they really want you to buy, because the offer will still be there tomorrow. In fact, it might even be there next week if you come back to them and say, I am interested. So I absolutely 100% agree with you. Take a breath. Take a big breath and allow yourself to reconnect to the truth of who you are before making a commitment to any of these kinds of programs, Because if it's a really valuable program and they're seriously interested in helping you, that offer will still be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there was something else that you mentioned. Oh, yeah. You talk about well, I guess we're talking about this whole notion of the magic bullet in general. And what happens is most of the practitioners that you are going to encounter deal with symptoms. They deal with the superficial, obvious things that they can see or what you tell them about. This includes your doctors, your, even surgeons. I mean, all of them are looking at symptoms and trying to deal with symptoms. Now, there's nothing wrong with dealing with symptoms. Symptoms are problems that have to be, handled. But what really is the big failure of all of this is to get down underneath the symptoms and down to the root cause and try to deal with that. Because sure, today you can take a pill, or you can get a small surgery, or you can get some needles put in your body or whatever and deal with some symptoms, and those symptoms might go away for a while.
Yeah.
But if you don't change the stuff inside you, do the real internal work, those symptoms are going to come back, and they might come back even worse than they did before.
Yeah. And an example that comes to mind is, and I love it, and I'm, obviously I'm in it for the long haul. But for instance, we may use going to an offsite retreat, right? 2 or 3 day retreat. Wow, this is going to handle all of my issues, or gain me or teach me. So you go there, right? You're getting a lot of value, some healing, networking, connecting. But then you come back, step back into your life after having attended the offsite retreat, and maybe you have that expectation now that things are going to be different. And there you are, 5 weeks, 5 days, 5 weeks out. Maybe you have that bit of enlightenment, but everything went back to as it was. So you learned a lot, got caught up in it, which is great. And you go back to your own routine, everyday life. And then you're like, wow, nothing changed. Well, okay, why is that? Because you were wanting the energy of that retreat, that healing session, to move things within you that are yours to tenderly pick up, look at, and ask yourself, what is it I need here? What's missing? Again, you can work alongside a coach, as David and I are, or a mental health professional, to help kind of pick back those layers. But that is another big thing, coming away from an offsite retreat or a weekend and expecting that energy to kick back the layers that have been there for years. And you do carry the glow. You do carry that learned glow. But again, I think we're expecting like the magic bullet, that retreat or whatever was the magic bullet that's going to fix these things or move these obstructions or blocks or challenges without, why don't I tap into myself? I can do this, instead of saying, oh, well, I just don't have what it takes, or I'm too busy, I'm too lazy, this is too hard, this is too much, blah, 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 Well, you take that learning that you did, that you received, and use that not as the ending, but as the beginning.
Right. And you've touched on some great stuff here. A big part of the reason that people don't do the work is, well, first, I don't have the time. And or, there's no room in my schedule. They might phrase it in a variety of different ways. And ultimately what they're saying is, oh, you have the same amount of time that you always had, period. I'm sorry, you cannot make that statement. What you are saying is not that you don't have the time for this, is instead what you're really saying is, this is not important enough to make it up my priority list so that I can make time for it. That's what you're saying. And ultimately what you're saying, if you go take another deeper breath, is I am not important enough to make this important in my life. Mm-hmm. So it's a self-defeating way of thinking. And if you have this subconscious belief that you're not worth it, then you're simply not going to spend the money and you're not going to put the time in. It's really that simple. And so having a coach is pointless in that circumstance. And so my hope is, if you choose to find a coach and you want to work with someone like me or someone like Nancy, I personally am going to make sure that you're doing the work, because if you're not doing the work, we're wasting our time together. And I'll actually fire you.
Well,
there's no point in maintaining a relationship where you're trying to grow and evolve when you're not willing to put in that work. And I'm not going to do it just because I'm angry. I'm going to do it because I care about you. I want you to value yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think a lot of, from what I've seen with my coaching practice, is that people they're afraid to dive deep underneath. They're afraid of what they're going to find, or I don't want to go there because that's painful, stressful. Mm-hmm. It makes me angry. I get overwhelmed. And then I go back into my, comfort behaviors of eating or drinking or buying or, whatever. So they think they've been conditioned to say, don't go there. If you feel uncomfortable, if it stirs up things, don't, keep that lid on that. Don't do that. But that which we have those feelings about is the invitation from the universe to go there and take the lid off with your coach or practitioner or yourself. And that's when the sweet spot of learning comes in. Now, here's an example of something that occurred in me, and it's not a big deal. This goes back to one of our shows. So I was feeling really frustrated because I, as a mind-body practitioner, not only I'm a big proponent of doing the emotional work, connecting to spirituality and relationships, but also physical. I really, really enjoy. That's my modality for tapping into my own stuff is exercising. I teach a lot of fitness classes. So I was, let's see. So I was looking at my husband who likes to exercise, but not like I do. And I was getting really frustrated. So I had to pause. I'm like, why am I getting frustrated that he supposedly is not doing as much as I do? So instead of keeping it at the surface, I realized that, I need to see, what does that frustration really mean? And when I went for a walk to clear myself, I realized that there was a part of me that I was frustrated with. I wasn't frustrated with his action or lack of. I was needing to do some work on me and being more patient. And why was I making a contingency offer and putting conditions on my supposed husband? Because there was stuff that I was not willing to look at or do within me. And so all of that frustration cleared up because I went down below, connected to that external frustration. And I think now that's not for everybody, but I think when we get off the high of a retreat or an event or, a healing session or a package, you're going to continue having that bubbling up of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. That's good, because that gives you permission to get really still and quiet and to examine, why am I feeling anxious or frustrated or, defeated? Like, what does this mean? Well, it means I have more work to do. I get to grow more. I know it stinks, but
no, I don't think that at all. But I want to say that was a beautiful expression or an example, actually, of recognizing your own projection and seeing, oh, I'm not really frustrated with him. I am actually frustrated with myself. You were projecting that frustration onto him because it was convenient. It was a way of avoiding your own feelings.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you were, enlightened enough to be able to see that for yourself and go out and have a walk, and clearly you didn't even say anything to your husband about this whole thing. Well, maybe you did after the fact, yeah. But in that moment you didn't react to that frustration. Instead, you recognize this is something that I need to look at. And that's really, really powerful. And that's really what we're talking about here. Each of us has to take responsibility for our own lives and for our own sovereignty, our own power. We have to take that responsibility. If we don't, someone else will happily come along and take our power away from us.
Yes, that we are an open. We're always looking to plug into a socket. Like, my laptop right now is plugged into a socket, it needs the energy. So we're always looking, here's a good one. We're always looking to plug our energy. If we're not doing the work, we're not doing the work within ourselves, we're always looking to plug our energy into someone or something.
Right. And in that sense, we become energy vampires then, because we're sucking away the energy from them.
Mm-hmm. And I think the aspect of of gathering our own personal and beautiful power is in plugging that back into ourselves as we then are aligned and congruent with our day-to-day life. Instead of saying, oh, that took my energy, or, oh, I'm drained, I'm going to buy this bottle of, herbal supplement. That's the next best thing. That's another thing. People buy, lots of supplements thinking that that's going to give them better sleep, more energy, easier digestion. So yeah, how many of us have drawers full of powders, supplements, protein bars, beauty products,
or even books or programs? I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of name you give this product. All of these products are supposedly variations on the magic bullet kind of idea. Here, this is going to solve this problem for you. Here, this is going to solve this problem for you. Hey, you short of hair? Try this. Hey, you got this physical problem. You're not feeling your young, spunky self anymore. Check this out. Everybody is trying to sell something and make money at it. And it would be nice. Maybe what we need to do is eliminate money completely from the equation. I mean, what would happen? And this is something that you and I have been doing, in this program for over a year now. We're giving this stuff away.
Yeah.
And why are we doing that? Well, it's not just so that we can build our own credibility. It's because we actually want people to benefit from this. Hopefully they'll get just even a tiny little bit of value out of it and use that to improve their lives. If that happens, then I know my life has been fulfilled.
Yes. I agree with you completely. Obviously, we wouldn't be working together here on the show or sharing, but how often, as you and I did in the past, just so many, again, place how we're feeling in the moment, how our day has been or is going to be based on the weather, how our commute was to work, how our meeting went, how our conference went, how whatever. We base how we're feeling on the external or what we think we don't have but we need. And so we're always behind, right? We're always feeling behind or waiting for something when everything that we need is truly within us. Instead of saying, I'm angry because this didn't happen, it was supposed to, and now I'm blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, why can't you be exactly as you were meant to be and say, wow, this event happened. It made me momentarily, frustrated, uncomfortable, anxious. But does my whole essence and persona need to be one of discouragement or defeat or frustration, that I can't be energized, supportive, and comfortable, even when the worst case scenario happens. Because really, I think it's way more energy draining to walk around waiting for something to happen, or taking yourself up in the energy of what maybe was a really discouraging event. That is really energy draining to cloak yourself in that.
Right.
That's
Totally.
what I've learned. I've had a series of things occur in my life that were, I admit, I got wrapped up in the moment, gathering that really heavy energy. But after a while, I realized I can't live this way. It feels really suffocating to me. And I'm not meant to walk around with the energy of feeling defeated or discouraged or heavy or waiting for the next thing to occur. I'm like, that is not what it means to be alive and living in day to day. Stuff is going to happen. Yep, you got it. Stuff is going to happen out of nowhere, unexpectedly or expectedly. But we have the ability from the work we're doing to have that really open, comfortable energy filled within us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The idea of allowing external circumstances to dictate who you are or how you are, that seems like a prime example of giving your power away. You're basically saying, oh, this situation controls me, or that situation controls me. The weather controls me. The energetic climate at work controls me.
I'd be if everyone at work wasn't so divisive and stressed out, I'd be the happiest person alive. Well, it's like,
right.
What?
Yeah. Well, why, and that's really a great point. Well, look, why don't you start by being the happiest person alive and then see what happens to the divisiveness at work?
People are going to, yeah.
Your decision, your choice to become more happy by doing whatever work you need to do to make that happen actually is going to rub off on all those people, and maybe the divisiveness will disappear or completely go away. Have you thought about that? Have we thought about that?
Mm-hmm. And there you go. There's the quote, magic bullet, working on going in for the long haul, running the marathon to do the things that we want. I think most people I've learned as a coach, you too, they quote, when you ask them, what do you want? I just want to be happy. Well, great. Awesome. But they say, well, good. I just want to be happy. So they put themselves in another room completely separate from happy. Of course, they're like, yeah, I have great moments of I'm relaxed and happy when, whatever. But they act as if most of the time I'm just going through life dodging fires and bullets, So that's like, well, you can be happy. You can be happy living with circumstances that are considered less than, that are not, quote, ideal. You can be just as happy and aware. You don't have to wait for that rainbow to show up on your work desk or outdoor, in your home.
Right.
Leprechaun.
The magic rainbow. We forgot about that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, happiness, I believe, and in fact, I write about it in this book. My chapter in this book is all about.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. This particular one, this one on my that
Bring
one.
it up with the screen if you can. I don't know if you can.
All right. Let me just grab that. So you can see this is the Wellness Universe Guide to Complete Self-Care, 25 Tools for Happiness. And there's some really, really awesome stories in here and tools from different people. And, one of the things that I believe is that happiness is our natural state. It is the state that if we allow everything else to just simply go away and get ourselves into the present moment, happiness just magically appears. And because that's all that's left, that's who we are, is ultimately happiness. And so you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter what external circumstances are doing. I can still, if I'm able to stay present and aware of who I am in the moment, I can stay happy, even in the worst possible circumstances. So it's really a question of choice. So it comes down to that idea. Do I want to just be angry or upset or, depressed or anything? Or would I prefer to get back to my natural state?
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to a choice.
It does. Yeah. Instead of giving the power to the magic bullet, the quick fix, we have a difficult thing, and I know that I'm going to put all my effort, energy, time, money, resources into this one thing. This is going to do it. Oh my gosh, it's going to just take everything down. And then standing alongside the magic bullet, like, okay, here you go, magic bullet, do your thing. And throwing your hands up a while later because all of that goodness went away. It didn't work. It's like, well, it didn't work. So notice your thoughts. I guess, you need to become self-aware of your thoughts and your words around what it is you desire to have in your life, whether that's more happiness, more balance, less stress, ability to emotionally regulate, have the ability to be solutions focused, whatever that is, that lies at the heart of who we are. It really does. And as David and I have learned, and that's why we're here, all of the times in our life where we bought that special package or product or service because that was going to do it. That was going to take care of something that we just thought we did not have or own or could do, and ended up, feeling, and it's like, I guess I have some work to do. And
well, and this is an interesting topic because it's bringing up all kinds of subtopics. I can see us going in a variety of different directions.
I know, yeah.
It's really interesting. So, for example, one thing that people don't seem to understand is there is nothing out there that can make you happy. Sure, there are things out there that might bring you some pleasure, momentary pleasure.
Yeah.
But ultimately, how you respond to that pleasure is up to you, and whether or not you connect to your true state, which I call joy rather than happiness. I think there's a difference between those two terms. How you choose to show up is up to you. By the same token, there is nothing out there that can make you angry.
That's fun. Oh my God.
There's stuff out there that's happening. Absolutely. It's just stuff. It's events. But what makes you angry is up here. It's what you're thinking about. It's your judgment about it. It's your interpretation of it. It's all that other stuff that's going to trigger the anger. And therefore prevent you from staying connected to your
stress. If I just I'm just going to go in my home or shut the door, the stress will go away. Like they're saying that everything, something or everything is making them stressed out. If it wasn't for my workplace, my family, the traffic, I would not be stressed out. It's like, well, what about all of that have you brought in to mean that it's stressful? What about all of that, quote, is stressful? And I don't like being stuck in heavy traffic, but why do I need to say this is ugly and stressful?
You know? Exactly. And most of that is just habit anyway, Habit. It's the ego mind habit of blaming and shaming and pointing the finger outward. That's what the ego mind does.
Or I'm a victim.
Yeah.
Wow. Life has dealt me an ugly, ugly hand, and I will just always be.
It's the ego mind that says life sucks. What's the phrase that we've heard before? Life's a bitch, and then you die. I thought that was a great bumper sticker, but really, it's not at all true. It is 100% not true. Life is actually an amazing, fantastic, wonderful adventure, and all of the stuff that I feel about it when I go from sadness to anger to fear to all those things, and then I come back to my happiness. what I'm experiencing is a journey that allows me to have those experience, those sensations, those emotions. It's amazing. Where else can we get that kind of experience?
Well, and if everything were easy breezy, smooth, we would be an uncarved work of nothingness. We need all of that, the unhappy stuff, the out of expected nowhere stuff, the good stuff, to make us grow into who we were meant to be.
Exactly.
I think the most growth I've done in all of us is when we've experienced things that were in the moment, like otherworldly. Now, of course, horrific stuff that's, I'm not referring to that, but all of the things that we're experiencing were meant. I just had some major things happen in my life. And somebody in my class is like, I can't believe you're here teaching today. I'm like, well, what else am I going to do? I'd be burying myself, lock myself in my home, crying all day, making the event worse and worse.
Exactly.
I said, I need to be connected to your energy. If my students in the class, I said, there's nothing I can do. The event is past. And yeah, I am going to process and deal with it, but locking myself in, not talking to people is just going to keep that heavy energy on me. And I don't want to be a prisoner, give my power to that event. That's another thing. I'm not going to give my power to that event, because then I'm making that event even more powerful.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really amazing how all of this kind of ties together when we just go in and look at it. When we just take the time to understand what's really going on. And that means, as you've said from the beginning, and as I've said, I think, is we have to go in here, because that's where the truth is. The truth isn't out there somewhere. I mean, sure, there might be some elements of truth out there, but real truth comes in from here.
And learning to trust your intuition.
That's right.
Learning to read your energy and trust your intuition, rather than, again, I'm going to seek the help of so-and-so and such and such. And I'm not saying, again, it's excellent to be in support and accountability with coach or counselor, because they can actually help you see things that you can't see because you're so enmeshed in your stuff. But again, acting as if you have none of that is not helpful. So yeah, trusting your intuition that you do know, you do have the answer to move forward and get help, find a different place. It is so important. And so the magic bullet lies within each of us. We're the magic bullet.
Right. You are the source of your own healing, your own growth, your own wisdom, your own truth. There's no other place that you can find it. Now, someone else might be able to help you find it within yourself.
Yeah.
But don't allow someone else to tell you their version of the truth and just simply take that as gospel without checking in here first.
Yes. And like I said, I'm a proponent, obviously, because I'm a coach, of working with a coach or a counselor, because that helps that's like you're joining forces when you need it, for somebody to help be in support with you, accountability, to help you see things that you can't see and help move. But ultimately, you with that are doing the work within yourself. You ultimately know, yes, it is excellent to work with another person if you're really feeling you want to do a lot more deep growth or you're stuck. But the work does not come from that coach saying, oh yeah, here it is. No, that work is by working with a coach. You get to go take a deeper, safe dive within yourself to say, oh, wow, okay. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of stepping down into the true nature of who you are. And yeah, It's going to be uncomfortable at times, but that uncomfort is where that richness is. That's the magic bullet.
It's interesting. Maybe we ought to start finding some different words here, because when I hear you've got to do your own work, Well, I hear the word work, and I'm lazy. I don't want to work. So maybe part of the languaging, we should, I don't like using the word should either, but maybe as a way of improving it, we can move towards something like, think of your soul as an adventure rather than work.
I like that.
And it's almost like, all right, think about the phrase cave spelunking. All right. Well, that means you're going into the dark, down into this deep, deep, deep cave, and you have no idea what you're going to find. But if you approach it from the idea of an adventure, and you're going with some other people who are also cave spelunking with you, well, what are you going to bring? You're going to bring your flashlight, right? And it'll probably be attached to your helmet or something. Maybe you'll have a couple of them. So you can see where you're going. You're not 100% in the dark. And then you get to look around these corners, check out underneath these rocks, check out the stalactites or whatever else they've got up there, and have a fun adventure rather than thinking of it as, oh my God, this is just work.
That's a great, yeah, I love that. So eliminate the word work or find other ways to go on an adventure, a journey to yourself.
I remember there was one organization that I was a part of for a while. They never talked about workshops. They talked about play shops.
Oh, that's cool.
And so, it kind of got exciting about, oh, I'm going to go to the play shop and find out, have some fun with a bunch of other kids who are also at the play shop. So it was a completely different way of approaching something. And
I like that.
Yeah, we can think about that with any aspect of our lives.
For me, that would be, I'm going to go on a hike because I love hiking and walking. And to me, that's synonymous with relaxing, quiet time, pausing. But yeah, I guess you could interject your word that gets you curious, excited. I'm going to go on a discovery.
Right.
Take a vacation. I'm going to, go to the playground. I get reset.
Yeah.
Go on recess. Wow.
And curiosity is a great word too, because it's not like the morbid curiosity kind. It's more like, geez, I wonder what's around this corner. Let's check out under this leaf, under this rock, over there behind that big tree. Let's just check it out, see what's there. And if you imagine yourself as being that amazing, beautiful landscape that has been maybe unexplored or underexplored, you can go start checking out inside. It's a beautiful adventure, and you might as well enjoy it.
I like that, because ultimately, if not us getting to learn and lovingly know who we are from the inside out, then who? Right?
And if not now,
when?
Right. Yeah.
The time is now.
That's exactly right. The time is now. And there is, I've been doing a lot of reading lately, and I like David Hawkins' view of it. Some people like Eckhart Tolle, for example, talks about the power of now and staying out of the future and out of the past and staying right here. David Hawkins has a different perspective. He says there is no now. Now is also a piece of the ego mind. All there is eternity or forever.
Wow.
And there is no here either. All there is everywhere. And that's how he frames it, which I find really, really interesting. So rather than trying to be in the here now, try to be in the everywhere forever. So it's if you can really eliminate the power of the ego mind, I think that's where you end up. It's a beautiful vision, actually, for me. Some people might not like it, but I like it.
There's just so many unique perspectives that we have permission to move into according to who we are and what interests us. Yes, it is excellent to partner with others when you are feeling maybe stuck or struggling or challenging. That's an excellent tool and resource. But also, again, as we said, we each have our own best knowing within us, whether we can take a trip to the playground or go on a hike or do the work, whatever, that each one of us has been born with in wholeness and have everything we need, that we are not needing that quick fix or that elixir or magic bullet to infuse us with what's missing. We're not missing anything.
Oh, that's nice. That's beautiful. Well, Nancy, it's been an hour. We've been riffing here and having a great time talking about a really, really powerful topic. Is there anything more you want to say before we close out?
I encourage you who are listening today or who will come to listen to us later, that we are all on this beautiful journey of life together. And the more time that we spent tending to the garden of our soul and spirit, the more aligned and congruent we are with our world, and the better place we will make the world and universe to be by putting up this beautiful, positive, optimistic, solutions focused energy. And if you hear this, join the Wellness Universe. I cannot imagine my life without being a member of the Wellness Universe. For all of the wonderful people I've met, David, our founder, Anna, who is amazing. I was an author in the first book, Soul Treat. There's just so much help and fun resources to all of us. So connect, get involved, do that one thing that you're on the fence of, again, taking that pause. But this is just an open, beautiful playground with rich resources that David and I are honored to be a part of.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's right. And so if you're interested in checking out the Wellness Universe, you can go to thewellnessuniverse.com. That's thewellnessuniverse.com. And just check it out. Check it out. And if you want to become a member, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's a great place to be. With that said, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I'd like to remind you that I'll be putting this episode, recording onto my website at yourlifemasterycoach.com. All of our episodes are there, by the way. And I hope that you'll join us again for the next one. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Here, and we'll see you next time on Soul Empowerment.
Yeah. Thank you so much.